I'm going to show you this morning how to do a Netti pot. So it looks like this. I've put my name on it because we have two in the household, so we don't want to confuse those. So plastic, easily available online. I got plastic because I needed it for travelling, but there is a lovely ceramic version as well if you want to be a bit more environmentally conscious. So we're going to fill half with boiling water, which I've just done, and then half with filtered water, cold water, to make it a nice temperature. So maybe it's just going to be just under half so that we don't end up burning ourselves, or obviously you could boil the water and let it cool a little bit. So I'm probably going to put a third of boiling water and then the rest filtered so that it's warm but it's not hot and it's not burning. And obviously I can feel the temperature in here, so that's nice to know roughly how warm it is. And then I would just test it on the back of your hand and just feel. So actually it's actually not warm enough. I'm going to put a tiny bit more of the hot in. You want it to be pretty warm but not to the point where it's going to burn you. As long as you can bear that temperature on the back of your hand, then we know it's not too hot. I've got a little measuring spoon, so I would start with maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. You can go up to a half of pure salt, so no Himalayan crystal salts, nothing too full of any minerals. We just want table salt, pure table salt. So then you're gonna basically, and I'll do this leaning over my sink, plug one nostril. So, oh, it's bubbling away now. So we're going to plug one nostril. So then as the water goes up, and if you just tip forwards as you do this, you're going to tip that water into the nostril. It's going to come up and down and clear through. The idea of this, I'm doing it today because I feel a bit allergic and hay fevery. You might be doing it as Kria, as yoga practice of cleansing and clearing before meditation, which is great. You might have ongoing sinus issues, infections, etc. So we start with one side and we're going to do half, or I aim to do half, and and it might make you feel a little funny at the back of the throat. But if you see, we're just leaning, hopefully you can see that, and it's running through the other side. I'm going to gently blow through both nostrils. I have previously blown my nose before I even started this, by the way. I would suggest doing that. So we've done about half on one. You might get that kind of like funny taste at the back of the throat. If it ends up going back down the back of the throat, because you're leaning forwards, you're just going to cough that out. If it's really, really blocked, it will feel like it won't actually come out, and eventually it will. So yeah, just being aware that that can happen. It might feel uncomfortable the first time you do it. If it's too salty, you'll definitely get that kind of like at the back of the throat. So just be aware not to, maybe start with less is more. And you can see the side isn't running as clearly as the other side was. So I'm probably more blocked this side, which makes sense. Oh, let's take my eyes water. A little gentle blow, always blowing really gently when we blow out. Having done it, I've got a little bit left, so I'm going to go back a tiny bit through the first side, which, oh, you have to tip it a little bit to get it going. Runs really clearly. And then a tiny bit through, which takes longer and is obviously, getting a bit longer, getting a bit clearer now. So just keep your mouth open, because then it'll also run through where it's supposed to run through your nose and not through the back of your mouth. So now I've done that, obviously I have a little bit of a wet nose. I'm going to very gently blow your nose, and I would do this a couple of times. Being careful to be gentle, we're not forcing out here. And then you just want to lean, tip over. Really good position would be down dog right now, because your head is upside down. Everything will start to clear. And don't worry if later on you get a little flushing out through the nose. That can happen. So later on you might bend over to get something and a little saline drip will end up coming out. It's not a problem, it is literally just that salt water. It'll stay up there a little bit and then eventually it will clear, and that's a good thing really. So just be aware. I mean, I work leaning over people as a massage therapist and sports therapist, and I'm constantly like helping people when I'm over above them, so I try not to do this before work because obviously I don't want that happening. So careful timing wise about what you're doing for the day. I am now off to do some yoga, so I'm going to take lots of tissue with me, because if later on it suddenly comes out, then I'll be prepared. My dog wants to say hi. What you doing? He's saying hello. So yeah, that is the Netti pot. Yeah, salty, isn't it? And then hopefully we can clear those nostrils.